hope everybody's excited to get started and learn a little bit about the course this semester. I decided to make the video because some things are very standard to classes that you've taken thus far, and then some things are a little bit different. So we're just taking the time here to review this part of the course to make it as easy to follow as it possibly can be. So instead of things being broken down just by weeks this semester, we're going to have 5 different modules that last anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. Most of the material will be broken down by week within those modules, but they'll all focus on one broad topic. Then, in each of the weeks or each of the modules, there are going to be different components that you're used to some of them and not used to others. For instance, I would really hope that everybody is used to reading at this point in the program. Readings won't be any different. However, lectures are going to be a little different this semester. We're going to use the Foxy Learning modules the Foxy Learning tutorials for 2 different of our modules. And there are going to be a couple different options for discussion this semester, and the assignments and quizzes are probably what you're used to. So first, talking about the lectures. Lectures will be similar to what you're used to, very much what we're doing right now. Some weeks there will be lectures, some weeks there won't. Some weeks there will be videos from professionals in the field speaking about what they are experts in. What's going to be different this semester is there are going to be lecture check-ins. In the weeks where I provide PowerPoint lectures to you, there will be questions embedded in the lecture, multiple choice questions, embedded in the lecture. And you, while you are reviewing the lecture, will record the answer, just the letter of the answer, and then submit it in what looks like a quiz folder called that week's lecture check-ins. The check-ins are anywhere from 1 to 4 or 5 questions each week. If you submit all of the answers correctly, you'll get 1 point for the week. For weeks that there are videos instead of my lectures, there will be an item in your lecture file for the week, that will provide the questions in text format. The check-in questions are not meant to be difficult. The words are typically said verbatim in the video, and in the weeks that there are lectures, the answer will be given. These are just to provide you points for viewing the material and reviewing the material in a timely fashion. On the weeks that there are Foxy Learning tutorials due, you will not need to do a lecture check-in, and for most weeks there are not even lectures for those weeks. You'll get more information about the Foxy Learning tutorials during weeks 3 and then week 9, which are the start dates for the 2 modules that will require Foxy Learning. But basically, the Foxy Learning tutorials provide a platform for you then to use Teach to Mastery and use behavior analytics skills to learn about different areas. For our course, we're using it for visual analysis and then for verbal behavior to give you a really in-depth focus on these 2 areas. When you do the Foxy Learning modules, that will be module starting, like I said, week 3 and the one starting week 9, you will have multiple weeks to finish an entire tutorial, and then you will submit the screenshot saying that you have completed that tutorial. Another option is to submit notes from the tutorials to demonstrate that you have completed them, if you choose to complete them at a slower pace. But you will have multiple weeks to do this, and lecture check-ins will not occur. Therefore, the week of visual analysis, weeks 3, 4, and 5, you'll have 3 weeks to complete the Foxy Learning tutorial for that. By submitting the notes or the screenshot of completion, you will earn your points for each week. So in that case, it would be 3 points. One for week 3, one for week 4, and one for week 5. So let's have your first lecture check-in so you can see what it's all about. So for lecture check-in question number 1, the question is, Foxy Learning fulfills the lecture check-in requirements for some weeks. Is that true or false? If the answer is true, write A. If the answer is false, write B. And, like we just talked about, the answer is true. For the weeks that there are Foxy Learning tutorials, lecture check-in will not be required. Make sure you've written down A as the answer for question number 1 so you can go back and submit it following this lecture and the lectures on domain of behavioral science. Another component of this class that will be similar but a little bit different this semester is the discussion requirements. There will be discussion requirements all weeks except for weeks 5 and week 12. There are no discussion board requirements for week 5 or week 12. Each week, discussions will either be in one of 4 formats. There will either be discussion questions posted, a blog entry will be required, a video post will be required, and on some weeks there will be the option of replacing one of those 3 with a live video discussion. On weeks of discussion board posts, 1 to 3 questions will be asked and you will answer them. Answer one of those questions, posting your initial post no later than Thursday at 11:59 p.m. of the week. You will respond to 2 peers' posts no later than Sunday at 11:59. The same is true for blog entry weeks. The due dates are the same. What's different about blog entries is this is a time for you to have fun writing about behavior analysis. Each week there will be instructions, but what you want to think about is how you can write in a way that will get people interested in reading what you have to write. So thinking about it, maybe you're not writing to myself and your peers, but you're writing to people who don't know about behavior analysis or are learning about behavior analysis. What you really want to do is catch people's attention while focusing on the information. For weeks that there are video posts required, you're doing something similar to what you did in your introduction video for this week. There will be a question asked, and you will answer it on video and then post it to the discussion board. The goal here is to really get your vocal verbal behavior technological to a point that it becomes very fluent. It can be really difficult to speak behavior analytically, and what we want to do is give you the opportunity to practice this. This can be very daunting, but one of the things that we'll be grading on video post weeks is that it doesn't sound like you're reading. You will not have the opportunity to read when somebody asks you a question about a difficult case. You will not have the opportunity to read when somebody says, hey, what is behavior analysis? You want to be fluent speaking about these things, and this will give you the opportunity to practice it. And then lastly, on some weeks, there'll be the option for live video discussions. We will meet through the Blue Jeans platform and schedule small groups of 2 to 5 people and discuss whatever the prompts for the discussion board requirement were that week. This gives you the opportunity to speak with me directly, your peers directly, answer questions or ask questions that you have about past material or upcoming material, and has been really well received by students in the past. Again, this is optional. A few weeks before the video discussion, is an option. I will send out a doodle poll to set up schedules, and I will try to accommodate as many people as possible. But again, completely optional, but it has been well received. In the rubrics folder on the Blackboard site, you will see that there are discussion board rubrics. Each of the 4 types of formats have their own rubric with, I believe, discussion boards and blog posts actually sharing one. What happens with grading for discussion boards this semester is 5 random weeks will be selected, and you will receive up to 3 points for those weeks. It is very important that you review the rubric because there are 6 different areas that are being graded each week. If you have any questions about that, always let me know. Assignments for this class are actually pretty standard. There'll be 2 assignments. One will be due on week 5 and one will be due week 12, each due by 11:59 on Sunday of the week. Do note that at 12 a.m. the next Monday, the availability of the assignment will go away, so it's very important that you turn things on time. Each assignment will have instructions and rubrics in the folder from the week that it is due. The first assignment is a graphing assignment where you'll be given data sets for 3 different graphs. You'll graph those data sets and then you'll provide a presentation presenting one of those graphs on VoiceThread. This is very important that you read and review the instructions as well as the rubric prior to starting the assignment. That will be due Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time of week 5. The second assignment will be due Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time of week 12. What this assignment will be is a curriculum guide, data collection system, and sample data for a program to teach a verbal operant to a student with a limited verbal repertoire. Again, very important that you review both the rubric and the instructions for this assignment. Lastly, there will be 5 quizzes, one at the end of each module. Each of these quizzes is comprised of 10 multiple choice questions and is worth 10 points. You will be able to take the quiz the last week of the module. It will appear in the module folder and will disappear at 12 a.m. the Monday following the module. So it's important to have submitted your quiz by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Sunday of the last week of the module. These quizzes should be pretty standard and what you're used to, and will only cover the material from the week that or from the module that the quiz is included in. And now we're at check-in question number 2. So read the question and determine the answer. And I hope everyone got this right. Quizzes, assignments, and responses to peers, and lecture check-ins are all due at Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that, if you have any more questions about the quiz or the course, please let me know. And I am really excited to have you in class this semester. Take care.